Hi everybody, it's me, Reedy, back with another episode of Beat the First Man, the only podcast that finds room for Little Shouty Man, and again we have to try and guess how old somebody is. This week we've got another Tales of the Unexpected with a twist. Ted will be back with another little knob of the week, as well as a surprise appearance elsewhere in the show, and it's the quarterfinals of the Beat the First Man FA Cup. So as the Prodigy once said, I'm a fire started, let's set the footballs on fire and off we go! So, episode 31 then people, and once again thank you so much to all you new subscribers that have joined the show over the last week or so, and to those who continue viewing. If you haven't joined the show already, if you're not subscribed, please click the subscribe down below. 31 episodes in and still can't get that right. If you haven't subscribed, you know, now's the time to do it. Join the show, get on board before we go big, before we go multi-million views. It ain't ever happening. Once you've pressed the little subscribe button, hit the little bell for the notifications. Job's a good one. Right, everyone on board? Let's get this BTFM bus rolling then. So, a little change as we start this week with the lineal European trophies. So, last week we had head-to-head for the European Cup and the UEFA Cup. As Werder Bremen, holders of the lineal European Cup, met Bayern Munich, holders of the lineal UEFA Cup, in a head-to-head. Bayern Munich ran out easy winners, winning 3-1. So they took the lineal European Cup. Bremen took the lineal UEFA Cup. Bayern Munich then went on and beat Lazio in midweek 2-1, and they will now defend the trophy against Stuttgart on Saturday afternoon. For Werder Bremen, might be licking their wounds, but they got the consolation of the lineal UEFA Cup, and they will be defending that on Saturday when they're at home to Wolfsburg. So can they keep the Wolves from the trophy cabinet door? Come on, this is the section where we do the cheesy gags. Honestly, we've got to expect it from this. What else have I got about Wolfsburg? Cologne. Bring them on. Anyway, so now the game everybody is talking about, up and down the country. A little bit up and down the country. Where I put up a photo of a footballer from the 80s, and all you have to do is guess how old he was when that photo was taken. So, it's off we go to Scotland this week. I promised you Scotland, the beautiful town of Greenock. And a man who made 162 appearances for Greenock Morton, scoring 22 goals, never received a red or a yellow card. But that's not what we care about, is it? That's not what's important in this game. What we want to know is when the brilliantly named Charlie Brown, how old was he when this photo was taken? Right, that's it. You're sacked. You're all sacked. The production team, you're all gone. That is not the Charlie Brown we want the picture of. Please put up the real picture and how old was he when Charlie Brown, when this photo was taken. Right, that's a bit better. So stick around to the end of the show and you'll find out how old Charlie Brown was. Not the little cartoon character at the front that the production team will be getting sacked for at the end. The normal one. So, everybody's favourite teddy bear. Here he is. Ted, what the bloody hell? What is with the top and the jeans? The public have seen enough of me in the fur. But where did you get the clothes from? I mean, there's no shops open, and no disrespect, you're a teddy bear, you can't exactly go shopping online. When you say no disrespect, what you mean is you're about to be disrespectful to me. Yeah, spot on. Well, these were sent to me by a viewer saying it was crazy that the star of the show was having to do it in the fur. At the risk of sounding boring, Ted, it doesn't normally stop you. As I said, Ted, at the risk of sounding boring, you are a teddy bear. No more, no less, nothing special. The phrase I think you'll find you are looking for is Hollywood A-lister. Okay, Ted, anyway. Have we got a little knob of the week this week? Have you bothered to do one? You know, what with you being so busy taking in clothes from your watching public? I'm going to say it's a collective that's won it again. Another collective? How come? Well, last week the news about Sheffield United and Chris Wilder broke. Got you, Ted, with you here. So the Sheffield United board and owners, hang your heads in shame. So Chris Wilder took over Sheffield United when they were 15th in League One. That's 15th. And he took them to the Premier League via the Championship. They romped League One, they got it through the Championship. They had a great season in the Premier League last year. Admittedly, they've had a nightmare this year, an utter car crash of a season. And they're going to get relegated to the Championship. But at the very least, Wilder, could expect was another crack at getting them out of the Championship. The man deserved that for what he'd achieved for Sheffield United. And the knee-jerk reaction from the board and the owners at Sheffield United is just staggering. I can't wait to see who they bring in as his replacement. It could be ultimately amusing. It would be no shock if Sheffield United did a double drop and went from the Premier League, Championship, back to League One, where Chris Wilder found them. So Sheffield United board and owners, you are quite rightly presented by Ted, in his clothes, the Little Knob of the Week award. So, stop doing that. It's going into my ear when you're not even saying anything. Are you back later on in the show? Yep, and I might even come back for a little surprise appearance. Oh, aren't we honoured? Well, we look forward to that. See you in a bit then, Ted. Right, so mashup time. I've promised, if you follow us on social media platforms, you'll know that I promised a mashup for this week. And this week, Little Shouty Man meets 4D. So, we'll kick off with Little Shouty Man. And it's another thing in football that gets my goat. What does that even mean? I don't even own a goat. And if I did own a goat, why would it get my goat? If it annoyed me, would you come and get my goat? Would you take my goat? I don't know. I don't really understand getting my goat. Anyway, it gets my goat. So it is footballers who do not celebrate goals against their old clubs. That really, really irritates the pants off me. No, you're not seeing that. Irritates the pants off me. We've all seen it. Player puts the ball in the net, puts on a sad face, puts his arms by his side so he's not celebrating, does this so he's indicating he's not celebrating, whilst his own team's fans and his teammates all go mad and celebrate wildly. So here's my issue with this, and here's the problem. Here's where Little Shouty Man is not happy. So by not celebrating and not offending the fans of your old club, who you've left, and who I can tell you now on social media, they'll all be slagging you off when you've left, saying, well, he's not good enough anyway, it would be far better with so-and-so up front instead of him. How about the fact you're offending your current team's fans? So, as a fan of a club, if I see one of my players not celebrating against his old club, that offends me. It offends me you're not celebrating for my team. Why aren't you celebrating for my team? Why are you too worried about disrespecting your old team? It's pants. It's absolute rubbish. Don't get me wrong, I'm not asking you to do an Adebayor and run from one length of the pitch to the other end of the pitch, slide on your knees and come under a hail of cigarette lighters and the like. But, you can still celebrate with your own fans or your own teammates. No one's really going to get that upset by that. In fact, I prefer it when they give it the big one against their old team's fans. That's what football's all about. So, it's ridiculous. So, how do we get a mashup from that to the 4D award? So, 4D, if you're not, if you're new to the show and you've never seen 4D, it's the high budget part of the show where we award 4D award. So, quite simply, we put on the cap, 3, doff, 4, 4D, easy. Anyway, so 4D this week, step forward, Kevin Ellison. So, Kevin Ellison was a player for Morecambe, played over 350 games for Morecambe, and when the new manager of Morecambe, Derek Adams, came in, he decided that he wasn't having Kevin Ellison. For whatever reason, he wasn't having him. But rather than put him up for transfer or say, you're not for me, you're not my type of player, it seems there's been a bit of a background there, and the two have clearly had a massive falling out. Kevin Ellison said some things in interviews about Adams that he's not happy about. Adams, in fairness, has kept a dignified silence, but we don't know what he's been doing in the background. So there's two sides to the story without a doubt. So anyway, let's rewind to last Saturday. Newport County, Kevin Ellison's new team, are playing Morecambe. It's 2-1, 65 minutes gone. Newport bring on Kevin Ellison. Newport are 2-1 up, And of what happens with 11 minutes to go, of course we know what happens. Kevin Ellison slammed the ball home. So, Kevin, rather than doing the sad face and the arms down by his side malarkey and the, I'm not celebrating, it's not for me, he sprinted nay less to the dugout where Derek Adams, the Morecambe manager, was stood. And I'm no lip reader, but the word twat was used. There's no two ways about that. And he screamed in his face. If you check out the thumbnail to this week's episode, you'll see the picture of it. I daren't put the video on because your copyright boys will be all over it. But he literally screams in his face, clearly calls him a twat, because you can hear that bit, and it's just brilliant. But he celebrated. He's not thought about the Morecambe fans when he's done that. He's not interested. He has celebrated that goal. Clearly it's a personal issue with him and Adams, doesn't matter. He celebrated the goal that he scored for Newport County. So Kevin Ellison, for the fact you celebrated the goal, what your issues are with Derek Adams, I don't give two monkeys. The fact you celebrated the goal against your old club, Kevin Ellison, you are 4D, my friend. Congratulations. Anyway, for the second week running, it's time for a bit of this. Yep, Tales of the Unexpected. A little bit quieter than I hoped it was, to be honest, because I forgot to turn the volume up. Classic editing, yet again. So, we head back to Aberdeen. Remember them from last week and their made-up manager, Ross Nicholson, whom they got in the betting to be their new manager? Well, unbeknown to me, turns out the Aberdeen boys have got a bit of history for this, making stuff up. So back in January 2017, Sky Sports were running their usual transfer window nonsense on the telly for the day, and the pranksters of Aberdeen decided they were going to have a little bit of fun with Sky Sports. So they went on the wind-up and they set up a fake Aberdeen FC Twitter page. It was very clever, with one letter out. It's about Aberdeen with a double N on the end, so you wouldn't have noticed it. They matched up the Twitter page. There'll be some photos coming up on the screen of some of the things that they've done. They matched up the Twitter page, the Aberdeen. They announced that the Dons had signed Turkish midfielder Yildiz Selçuklu. So they used a fake Aberdeen Twitter account. As I said, they showed a picture of Selçuklu holding up a shirt at Pododri, the usual, delighted to sign for them, blah, blah, blah. Sky Sports ran it as a story that Aberdeen had signed this Turkish midfielder. But alas, for the Aberdeen faithful, there was no Turkish midfielder called Selçuklu. The Aberdeen fans, they've been at it again. This was their first instance of it that I'd not known about, to be honest. This one's just come to my attention in the last week. So, Selçuklu, what's so good about that? What's interesting about Selçuklu? Well, a long-standing Scottish wind-up that people do with each other is by claiming that Yildiz Selçuklu. So, in other words, Yildiz Selçuklu is Yildiz sells Avon. For you English people watching, it means your dad sells Avon products. So that is what they did. So they conned Sky Sports into thinking that Yildiz Selçuklu has signed for Aberdeen, the Turkish midfielder, on a 3-year deal. So next time you're watching Sky Sports transfer window, if Aberdeen announced they've signed the South Korean striker Fu King No Wan, you might just want to look a little bit closely and see whether they have actually signed him or whether it's another made-up one. Aberdeen fans, you're welcome. Carry on. I look forward to seeing it on the next Sky Sports thing. Anyway, so earlier on this week we did Zooming In, and it was back to the Beat the First Man FA Cup. So we started with 8 people back in the third round, as you may remember. We all got 8 teams each, the last 64. We're down now to the last 8, but there's only 7 players remaining. Somebody's gone out, which you're about to find out who. So let's go and find out what happened, how we got on and predicting the last round, how we're calling this round of fixtures, and look out for a special guest that turns up halfway through. Zooming in.
So, welcome to Zooming In. Beat the First Man FA Cup returns. We're at the quarter-final stage. Some of us have teams left, some of us don't, but we'll come on to that in a minute. We won't embarrass Chris just yet. You may notice that tonight we're not joined by Dave. Sadly, Dave's had to go in hospital for a quick operation. But Tom, the news is all good, isn't it? From what I understand.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so I think he's hoping to be home tomorrow. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, so we send our best to Dave. We have got a surprise guest coming on to stand in for Dave, so he'll be joining us later when it's Dave's turn. But we'll whistle round the screen and go with what teams you've got left. So I'm going to start with Roger, bottom right. So Roger, you've still got one left in it. Manchester United keeping your flag flying for you.
Yep.
Yeah. Confident.
Draw, penalties.
Yeah. Okay. Tom, you've got one left. Sheffield United. Talk us through your chances of winning this competition.
Not great. That's all I can say, really.
So Harry, you've also got one left. You have got Southampton left. Feeling confident?
Absolutely not.
No. Kian, you have got one left. Leicester. They've never won it.
No, and they're not going to this year either.
Liam. Now, Liam, let's just go back to round 3 when you accused us all of fixing it and that you had all the shit teams left. You're the only one with 2 left. So you have got Everton and Bournemouth going into the quarterfinals.
They've been winging it, haven't they?
Can they wing it for another 2 rounds?
Probably not. I think their luck's ran out.
And Chris, sadly, last but not least, unfortunately, Burnley let you down. Your last remaining team, so you are the first man out.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
You're just here for shits and giggles now, to be honest. Let's be honest. Yeah. I've got one left. I've got Manchester City left, so I've got half a chance. So in the last round, we had 8 matches to predict. Gentlemen, we did pretty well. We predicted 7 correct winners out of the 8. The only one we called wrong was, I'm just quickly looking down. If I'd done some sort of revision beforehand, I'd have seen this. We predicted Burnley to beat Bournemouth. That was the only one we got wrong. But the other 7 we called right. So we'll see how we get on with the quarterfinals tonight, see how we do with that as he scrambles around looking for a pen. So we're going to start with the first game. So, Liam, Everton v Man City. Sellers Everton. What chance have they got?
They're doing well in the league. Got a good manager behind them, but I think this is going to be their toughest opponent so far. I think they might struggle, but they might surprise us for the FA Cup's for.
Yeah, I mean, I've got Man City, and I've got to say, if I was a Man City fan, this would be the only competition left that I'd be worried about them not winning, because I can see them winning the other 3, but I think this is the one where they've just got the danger of losing. I've got a funny little feeling Everton might do it on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it's being played.
But then City have had their little run. I think that loss to United. I mean, I know they won at the weekend or midweek, but I think that they're just going to come tumbling down now. I think they've had their. I mean, all teams get their good parts and bad parts, and I think their bad parts coming now. Hopefully,
tumbling down might be a bit strong, Liam. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Define tumbling down. Finish 14 points clear.
Oh well, I mean, you think they could mess up against mess up in the Champions League? Got the Champions League. They got the FA Cup. You know, they could mess up in the league and lose the league and might end up with nothing this season. That's called tumbling down.
They could lose to Tottenham in the League Cup final.
Well, there you go.
Okay, so simple enough. If you fancy Everton to win, go with the H. If you fancy Man City, go with the A. So I think we're all going Man City in reality overall. Oh, Roger's gone very fancy. Look, he's gone on his phone. Look at that. I'll tell you what, that's one level above. No, but the majority rules, so Man City we go for. So the next game up, and this is the game that Roger has very kindly chosen for Guest v Knowledge this weekend. So he's chosen as Bournemouth v Southampton. So Liam, you're on stage again. Sellers Bournemouth, go for it.
They're actually winning tonight, which makes a change because every time we've had these calls, they've kind of been losing. Southampton are on I would say, a downward spiral. I don't think they'll do much. I think Bournemouth will have it for them. I think it's one game Bournemouth are going to want to win, really. So I'd go Bournemouth.
Okay, Harry, Southampton.
I mean, to be honest, they are dog, really, aren't they? But they've got nothing else to play for, really, have they? Except for survival. They just lost to Brighton, so they're in trouble now.
They've
But
got Scotland's new number 9, Shay Adams.
yeah. He's on hot form, isn't he? 3 in 19 games, I think.
Steady.
So, I'm struggling really to think of a scenario where it's going to be a good game.
You've not really convinced me very well that Southampton are going to win. So I'm going to go around the screen on this one because I think this one's quite tight to call. So I'm going to get the views of everyone. So Chris, Bournemouth, Southampton, which way you going, home or away?
Southampton.
You're going Southampton. Liam,
Bournemouth.
Kian,
Southampton.
Harry.
I'm going to go for a Jonathan Woodgate masterclass. Bournemouth.
Roger, as you've gone to the effort on your phone, I want you to show the phone again because that is truly quite beautiful. I can't see it. It's just a white screen. It's not worked.
Southampton.
Southampton. Tom?
Southampton.
Yeah, I think the majority rules, so we have to go for Southampton. So far we've got Southampton and Man City in the semi-finals. So probably the biggest game of the weekend, in fairness, of the Cup quarter-finals, probably the one I would say, the one I'm looking forward to the most out of the 4. So Leicester v Manchester United. So Kian, sell the Leicester dream. Tell the people of Leicester outside my window why this is their year.
I mean, they've got Maguire at the back for United, and Vardy's fast, so they kind of just, Vardy v Maguire. So Leicester are going to win.
Okay, Roger, sell me the Man United dream.
I think we have strength and depth. Pogba should be back. Cavani should be back. No chance. I think Man U all the way. I'm a Spurs fan.
All right, I've got a theory about Leicester this year because they've never won it. Obviously, with this as being the year when there's only going to be at the most 20,000 fans in the ground, and now they're talking about the fact it's only going to be people from London that's allowed to go because they want to keep the travelling down. This is the year Leicester are going to win it. You can absolutely bet your bottom dollar on it. Get all your money. Put everything on Leicester winning the FA Cup because this is the year it's going to happen. Yeah.
Mark, Brendan Rodgers chokes, mate. He always chokes. Always chokes.
It's a good point.
Always chokes.
So, Chris, we'll start with you again. So, home or away, Leicester or Man United?
Good for Leicester.
Okay, Liam?
Man United.
Kian?
Leicester, I think.
Harry?
I'm going to go Leicester.
I brought you two up well. Roger?
Man United.
Tom?
Man United.
Oh, that means it comes to me. Well, I've got to stick with what I said. I think this is Leicester are going to win it this year, so I'm going Leicester. So we have to go with the majority rules. So it's 4-3 Leicester. So so far we've got Leicester, Southampton, and Man City in the semi-finals. So last but not least, Chelsea v Sheffield United. We'll start with Sheffield United because our guest hasn't quite turned up yet. He was going to turn up to do Chelsea for us. So Tom. Good luck, my friend. Sell us Sheffield United. Why are they going to win at Chelsea this weekend?
Oh, God, it's a tough one, isn't it? Every other week I said, they got Chris Wilder, he's a good manager. Well, they don't have him anymore. No idea. They're not going to win realistically, but there's always got to be one upset, isn't there? So why can't it be Sheffield United?
Are you saying Paul Heckingbottom isn't a good manager?
Yeah, I mean, me, Harry, and Kim will speak. We will speak from experience here. He's not the greatest. But right, the special guest has now turned up. So I've arranged this as Dave couldn't be here. It's only Ted. Ted, how are you, my friend? I'm okay, thanks, Reedy. Who are all those people on the screen? We got Chris, Liam, Kian, Harry, Roger, Tom. Never heard of any of them. Stoke Gabriel, you've spoken about them loads of times. What, them ones that keep losing? Ted, stop it. Look, right. Chelsea, tell us why Chelsea are going to win. Get that Chris to tell him. He's doing nothing else. He's out. Well, Chris, tell us why Chelsea are going to win. You sit back, Ted.
They've found their form in the two, haven't they? Absolutely cracking run since he's been in. So I think they're on the up, and I think they'll ease it. Good 4 or 5-0.
He could have gone a bit more in depth. Look, he's just standing in. We called him in at the last minute then because you couldn't be asked to do it. I'm going now. I'll see you Saturday. All right. Try, Ted. See ya. That was Ted. So, So Chelsea, Sheffield United. So, Tom, do you stick with your own team or are you going to go Chelsea?
Yeah, back Sheffield United all the way.
Okay. It's a brave call. Roger? It's going to work. Yes, I can see it this time. There we go. Chelsea it is for Roger. Harry?
I'm going to go for Sheffield United.
What?
Are you okay?
I
Good
think
call.
they're already down, aren't they? Right?
Yeah.
And
There's
Chelsea,
a
Chelsea are trying to get top 4. I reckon they're more focused on the league, getting Champions League.
So Harry has gone Sheffield United. Kian?
I should have led with that.
It is got to be Chelsea. It's got to be Chelsea because realistically, who's scoring with McBurney, McGoldrick, and Sharp?
McBurney's Scotland's other number 9. Stop taking the piss.
They're not going to score any goals at the Euros then.
Has he ever scored for Scotland?
He scored a penalty in the shootout that we got to the tournament with.
So no,
That doesn't count.
Be honest,
That doesn't count.
That was the only one that mattered. And I wasn't confident then. Liam?
I reckon Sheffield United are going to do what Wigan did, get relegated and win the FA Cup in the same season.
I genuinely can't believe there's 3 votes for Sheffield United. Chris, bring some sanity back to the show.
Yeah, it's Chelsea.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guy. I cannot see Sheffield United any stretch of the imagination. I can't. If they keep it to a 1-0 defeat, I'd be surprised. I just think they're that poor this season. Without Wilder, I think Chelsea are going to win comfortably. I mean, Chelsea. The only thing about Chelsea is they've just played us. They've got another game in midweek, so they might be a bit leggy come the weekend. But I'm really clutching at straws trying to find that as a reason why Sheffield United might knock them out. I'm not going to lie. So our predictions then are Manchester City, Southampton, Leicester, and Chelsea in the semi-finals, which would be me, Harry, Kian, and Dave in the semi-finals. So we could still have 4 left, but it could be completely different. So we'll see how it pans out.
I'll have 2 in the semis, Mark.
Well, that's brave talking. So Bournemouth and Everton, it's Liam's shout. Right, just making it that.
Just imagine if Bournemouth and Everton both go through and then they face each other in the semi-final.
I could see it coming.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. When this goes out Saturday, if anyone sensible should get their money on that now.
Yeah.
Gents, as always, thank you so much for your time. You've been great giving up your time again. We've only got the semi-finals and the final to go. Semi-finals will come up with something a little bit different. And then the final, I've got a little idea which is bubbling up, which I'll drop round to you on the email and see if any of you guys will be up for it. But hopefully we can pull it off. But for now, until the semi-finals, good luck at the weekend. And it's back to the rest of the show. And see you soon, guys.
See
Mark.
So there we go then. So we'll see who gets to the semi-finals from here. Have we predicted it right? Have we predicted it wrong? Time will tell. We'll just have to wait and see. Next week, all being well, and it's looking 99.9% certain it's happening, we will have an 80s musician who had a number one in the charts in the 80s. So coming on this little show. Keep an eye on the social media, because as soon as I've recorded it, if it all goes to plan, and touch wood, it'll all happen. As soon as I've recorded it, I'll announce who it is. But yeah, there's an 80s musician who had a number 1 hit, possibly will be on this show next Saturday. Something to look forward to. Don't I bring you all the stars? Anyway, Ted is coming back again. I can hear him. So, all right, Ted. Yes, thanks. Let's guess how old this guy is. Right, okay, so our old friend from Morton, young Charlie Brown. So should we see what the public think, Ted? Can't I go first? Go on then, I'm feeling kind. You've turned up smartly dressed in your new clothes, your t-shirt and your jeans. So go on then, you can have a guess first. 29. Okay, Ted, let's park that for a minute then. I'm bloody right. I knew it. I knew I was right. I'm saying nothing, Ted. Let's let the public guess first of all. Right, so let's see who we got from the public. Your Daz from Aberdeen. Nah. Come on, boys. I'm not falling for that one. I ain't Sky Sports. You'll have to do better than that. Anyway, Trent from Kent, 25. I'm afraid not. Believe it or not, you've gone too old at 25. Right, Ted. So let's see how old he was when this photo was taken. So Charlie Brown, when that photo was taken, was 22. 22. See, you were miles out, Ted. Piss off, I'm not having him as 22. Was he a chimney sweep at the age of 5? Wash your mouth out, teddy bear. I'm not being funny, I'm just not having it. He was not 22. I'm not, Ted, you can't be coming on here with language like that. It's disgraceful. As young people watch this show, well, they'll learn some new words then. Brilliant. Okay, right, Ted, off you trot then. Trot, I'm not a bloody horse, I know it's Cheltenham. See you next week. Oops, I think I might have upset Ted. Whoops. Maybe he won't come back next week. I bloody will. Who said that? Anyway, that just leaves one thing. Or should we just skip it? Nah, you don't know what you're doing. We'll get that off pretty quickly this week. Guess v knowledge it is then. So as you know, Guess, my wife, who knows nothing about football, against Knowledge, me, who is proving to know very little about football the way this is going. So at the moment it's still Guess 15, Knowledge 10. Last week we predicted, well, I predicted Leeds to beat Chelsea. She also predicted Leeds to beat Chelsea. Neither of us were right. I am claiming a little bit of a moral victory because I sat here and told you all why Leeds were going to get a result last week and we got a 0-0 draw. So I'm claiming a little bit of a moral victory with some solid, sound reasoning behind what happened. And, you know, a little bit more luck, I would have got a point out of that game. But hey, wasn't to be. Anyway, this week, Roger from the Beat the First Man FA Cup and Stoke Gabriel fame, he's chosen us the South Coast clash in the FA Cup between Bournemouth and Southampton. The guess reaction was rather brilliant this week. I don't know any of those two teams. Fantastic. It's a good starting point. So she actually is 100% guessing this week. But in the end, she's plumped for Southampton to win 2-1. So that's her guess for the week. I think this is quite a tough one to call. Bournemouth are so hit and miss, but in midweek they were fantastic. They destroyed Swansea, who've been flying high, beat them 3-0. Southampton have been on a terrible run, awful. When they had the win at Sheffield United, which stopped the run of defeats. But since then they got done at Man City 5-2. No shame in that. A lot of teams have been, but then lost to Brighton last week when they were poor as well. But in the FA Cup, Southampton have pulled out some excellent results. They've knocked out Arsenal, they've knocked out Wolves, they didn't concede any goals against either. So it's a tough one, it's a really close one to call, I think. You can make a case for both sides, but I do think Southampton are going to be well up for this, and I genuinely think that they are going to turn in a show on Saturday. I think they're going to be too strong for Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth, this could be a bit of a learning curve for them on Saturday. I am going for a 3-1 win to Southampton and 3 points for me. Now, if this goes to 2-1 and there's like 5 minutes to go, I'll be sweating because she'll be sitting on 3 points. But trust me, 3-1 Southampton, that is how it's finishing. Get your money on it at the bookies now. Honestly, there's a chance for free money because I'm predicting that 3-1. I'm that confident it'll be 3-1. Free money, get it on at the bookies. So, there we go. Another show done and dusted for another week, which hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, please drop us a like. Love to hear your comments about Little Shouty Man and the celebrating against old teams in the comments below. Love to hear what you think. If you liked it, give me one of those because it massages my ego as well as my baldy heat. Click the subscribe button because that's all good as well, and make sure you're ready at the bus stop because ding ding, next stop Saturday 27th of March, episode 32. Please, as always, stay safe everybody, and we will see you all next week. Take care for now.